Alright, hello, my name is Shane. I use she and her pronouns, and this is the second session in our game of Trophy Gold. We're about halfway through the Hester's Mill incursion from Codex the Zine, Hell number 2. Just to flag before we start, we are using safety tools in this game, and we discussed them in more detail at the start of our previous session. Specifically, we have the X card and the open door in play, and we're also using lines and veils. Just to briefly reiterate, the lines and veils that we agreed on are lines on eye injuries, harms to children, homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexual assault and sexual violence. And we have veils on harm to pets or domestic animals, sexual content, slavery, suicide and torture. This game was organised through the Gauntlet gaming calendar. You can find out more about the Gauntlet or decide if you want to come play a game with us at gauntlet-rpg.com. At the end of June, we have a Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend coming up where there will be a whole bunch of one-shots, two-shots, short games run by Gauntlet GMs, and it's a great opportunity to come and check us out and see if you'd like to play some more with us. All right, I will get the players to introduce themselves now. I'll just go around the order that I can see you on my screen, and just if you could tell us, firstly, your name and pronouns and anything that you'd like to tell us about yourselves, and then also your character's name and pronouns, and a little bit about who they are and what they're doing in this extremely dangerous environment. So, Blake, could I get you to lead off?
G'day, I'm Blake, he, him. Today I'm playing Talia, she, her, the awesome sellsword, warrior, explorer, finder of valuable stuff, hopefully. That's about it.
Great. Richard?
Hi, Richard, he, him pronouns. I am playing Parda, she, her. And Parda is a disgraced academic who is now a book smuggler and is kind of trying to build up her resources to wreak her revenge.
Beautiful. Oops, sorry, I'm losing the screen. Remy?
I am Romy. I use they, them pronouns. I'm also Rebel, who also uses they, them pronouns. An expelled apprentice, often unprepared, wholly unhelpful, but great attitude. That's what I bring to the team.
Excellent. And Gerald?
Hi, I'm Gerald, he, him pronouns. I'm playing Mahira, who is also he, him pronouns. Mahira is a plagued farmer turned ranger who wishes to bring freedom to Tyrolis, but also has burdens that they need to alleviate.
All right. Thank you all. So just to recap briefly, your hunters have all come to the sort of long-lost and reputedly cursed town of Hester's Mill, rumoured to be cursed by the sisters, with the kind of deities of this setting, after an especially brutal uprising by the people of Hester's Mill against a tyrannical and heretical usurper named Lord Goldrin. So far, you've just sort of circled the remains of the town itself, and you just spent the night in an old farmhouse guarded by an animated scarecrow, and Ravel actually animated one of their own, conveniently enough. The set goal for the farmhouse where you are now is to learn the Scarecrow Ritual. But even though you could perform the ritual using those notes, you wouldn't really say that you've actually learned it or kind of internalized its magic to the point of satisfying that goal. I just want to tell you as the GM, there's something that you need, like narratively, to finish learning the ritual just through the fiction that is not in this set that you'll need to go and explore more to find. Or, as always, you as a group can spend 3 hunt tokens and complete the set goal that way. But, you know, you've spent the night in the farmhouse. You've had a good opportunity to look around. You're pretty sure that you've found everything there is to find in the farmhouse itself. You got a good look at the area when you were up on the hill last time, so you know that, not far from here, there's the village itself, or what's left of it, which is mainly just the mill and a few crumbling cottages and things like that. There's also some sort of campsite nearby, and an odd little man seems to be camping there. And close by the campsite, there's a shrine to St. Hester. And then south of the village itself are the old gallows, which are also still intact. And I guess just a reminder that, mechanically, what you all need is to leave this incursion with, at a minimum, enough gold to satisfy your burden. But ideally more gold than that, both for practical things you may need, like healing, decreasing your ruin, but also gold to stash in your hoard to progress towards your drive. But as we start, it's morning in the farmhouse. I think Talia was outside just sort of taking out some frustrations with some sword practice. But, Ravel, do you tell the others anything about the strange dream that you had last night?
No. I think by the time I wake up, I've got nightmares like that. I've had worse.
Okay.
I don't want to worry anyone.
All right. Well, Parda. Well, sorry. So who's going to make breakfast? Who's the chef in the group? Or are you all just feasting on your rations?
Sorry, I saw the words under skills. I saw the word secrets, and I thought, I know the 11 herbs and spices. I mean, I can do it if no one wants to, but I'm not seeing anything on the character that says I'm going to make a tasty meal, so it might be rubbish.
I mean, I'm not going to have you roll to decide if you successfully make a meal or not. I'm happy for you just to narrate that. Although I suppose if you want to serve up some of the skulker remains that you harvested last time, that could be a risk roll.
No.
I think you just put together some
rat stew or something.
Parda, is this your first time eating rat stew? Sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm not especially. I think that the thing that makes Parda is that it's not so much that she needed, like, she was stealing books and selling them to pay tuition at the Lyceum or whatever, so much as to maintain a lifestyle while attending. And so she likes people to bring her food and not clean the plates and all that stuff. So she's actually like eschewing the rat stew and eating some of her provisions.
Nice. Mahira, what about you? I feel like you've probably done worse than this before.
Took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, no. Yeah, Talia, this is delicious. This is the best that I have eaten in a long time, in fact. The foraging in the forest can be unforgiving, so I really appreciate this rat stew.
Thank you. There's plenty of it. Parda doesn't seem to be eating theirs, so...
Parda, I'll take yours.
I mean, there's probably some pumpkin in it as well. There was lots of pumpkins growing around the place. It's not a bad breakfast, I guess. Romeo, you is taken with it. Oh, sorry, Ravel is taken with it.
I'll try anything once. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but I'm very polite. This is delicious.
All right. And as you finish up your breakfast, I assume your conversation turns to where to go next, where the wealth that you believe may be secreted around here somewhere might be hidden. Who has strong ideas about where to go next?
Yeah, I think I'll just say, so we've got the gallows, we've got that campsite, and we've got the village. Is that right? Did anyone have a
Yeah.
preference?
There's also a shrine to St. Hester that's kind of nearby to the campsite.
And there was that odd little man who I feel like maybe they're not going to have a lot of treasure. I mean, shouldn't we go somewhere where there's maybe more opportunity?
He might know where treasure is, though.
Good point.
Odd little
I
men
didn't
have
like the
odd little
look of
things
him,
to
though.
say.
I did not like the look of him, the way he was, peeping at us, and I want to get to the closest thing to civilization around here. So I'm pushing for the town.
I wondered
Okay.
if the closest thing to civilization would be the town or the gallows. It could go either way.
All right, so I'll say, how about we go to the campsite, but we'll be wary because we don't know, what this dude is, and then we'll go to the village.
Seems fair.
Sounds good. Before we go, how's the Scarecrow looking?
Out in the field.
The one that I animated or did the ritual on.
Yeah, so I think it's ready. It's primed, ready to go seek out the target that you have named for it.
All right.
Maybe there's just one last magic word that you need to speak to unleash it on the world.
Is Revel carrying
Which is
on
what
her
I
shoulders like a toddler or something? Or
I think that would be pretty cool, pretty intimidating. And I
You
don't
wanna
want to
do
leave
that?
it there. Someone else might steal it out from under me. So, yeah.
So maybe like tied to your back? I think that the Scarecrow would have a hard time balancing on your shoulders.
All right. Maybe like a backpack. Like I've maybe tied the arms
Yeah.
like a tennis sweater.
Yeah, I can't see how this could possibly go wrong. This is great.
No, not at all.
All right. And then you head off towards the campsite, is that right?
yeah, campsite and then village.
Mm.
But we are keeping alert because we don't trust this person at the campsite.
Yeah. So yeah, as you head towards the campsite, it's not too far. It's a bit of a hike. As you get close, there's this kind of deep, rich smell of soil mingled with fur and blood, maybe feathers as well. But you get closer. You see, there's a tent and a bedroll there. The remains of a campfire. You can hear him, this guy sort of moving around inside the tent as you approach. You wait for him to come out, or do you call out to him, or what do you want to do?
I vote for playing it casual, not like making it seem like we're sneaking up. We're talking amongst ourselves, maybe. Not non-threatening.
Yeah, I'll say, nice place you got here.
You hear him, gasp with some surprise, and he comes out of his tent. Up close, you can see that he's this kind of lean, rangy guy. He's got a hard look in his eyes when he smells like it's been a while since he bathed, which may be common to all of you, I guess. He's cleaning a sword as he emerges, but it doesn't, like, it's not an obviously threatening gesture. It just seems like that's what you've caught him at. But all of you notice that his sword and chainmail seem nicer than than what you would expect from a lone, strange man camping and smelling in the middle of nowhere. He looks sort of expectantly at you all. He says, "What brings you to Hester's Mill?"
We're exploring. Just exploring the area. And, we got a taste
Hanging
for
out with my
pumpkins.
good friends.
If you have any sense, you will flee this place. Surely you've heard that it is cursed.
You're here.
That is true.
Okay, we're talking to Mr. Charisma. Is there only one bedroll, only one tent for one person?
Yeah. It is clearly not had human company in some time. Well, what do you want from me?
Do you have any recommendations about the area?
I
love to
recommend you
explore.
leave.
No, that's not very nice. You seem like you've made a nice little home here for the time being.
He looks down. It looks down somewhat sadly. He says, "Well, that's kind of you to say, but nothing good will come of this place."
Why is that?
Yeah. As you ask this question, I'm reminded that I should tell you the set goal for the area that you're in now. The set that you're in now is called the Road to Hester's Mill, encompassing some of the sites around the town. And the set goal is to learn the secret history of Hester's Mill. So again, there's a way that you can accomplish that narratively in the fiction, or you can spend 3 tokens. Or you can just decide to leave the set. You don't have to achieve the set goal.
I'm just going to say, you said this place is cursed. I mean, apart from superstition, you've heard around the tavern. What makes you think it's cursed? What have you seen?
Well, I've seen the town has fallen to ruin. I hear strange howls in the night. I've seen those things that lurk in the long grass. What more would I need?
Seems like you need more, or you would have left. Why are you still here?
Well, I'm on the hunt. But why are you here? What do you seek?
I see gold and treasure and anything I can get my hands on to free Tyrolis. I need resources. I need willing participants. Perhaps you would like to join me.
I've not heard the name Tyrolis in a long time. What happens there? Why?
Not a lot anymore. Now that our farms have been, our crops have been crushed and the earth salted, and the people driven away. Tyrolis is maybe more cursed than this place.
Find that hard to believe. Perhaps you should go there.
Perhaps. But I'd like to go there with something to show for myself. Do you have any advice?
I think he begins to feel concerned that you intended to rob him at this point. He says again, my only advice is that you leave this place before you too fall victim to its curses.
Have you fallen victim to its curses?
He laughs. Some might say.
While this is going on, I'm going to be trying to stealthily case his campsite and see if there's anything worth having.
Yeah. Why don't you make a hunt roll?
All right. I would presume that my stealth skill is relevant.
Yeah.
So that's 2 dice, right?
Yeah, that's 2 light dice.
Five.
Oh, nice. So on a 5, take 1 token, but you encounter something terrible. Let's see. So as you sort of skirt around Well, yeah. I mean, I guess like, do you want to describe a little more how you're exploring? Are you just looking visually, or are you moving around? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, I kind of hung back a little bit as we went in because I don't like the way this guy was looking at me, and and so as they're talking, I kind of just edge around out of his peripheral vision, and then start poking around in his things very carefully. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying. If he turns around and sees me, he's gonna immediately know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you start poking around and you find like pretty standard camping equipment type stuff. If you want to spend a token, then you'll find something of value, but otherwise not. But the main thing that you find as you edge out of his peripheral vision is that lying sort of just behind the tent is the remains of one of the skulkers that you fought one of yesterday. This one has had, it looks very much like it's had its throat torn out, like bitten out by some sort of large animal. And its remains otherwise gnawed at.
All right. Yeah, that kind of well, I mean, I don't know why he would be keeping this, so it just confirms my existing impression that
it looks quite fresh. Almost still bleeding. Yeah, it's clear to you that this was killed very recently.
Okay, this just increases my urgency to get the hell away from this guy.
Do you say anything to your companions?
I kind of make my way back and like give try to catch people's eyes, give some try to silently communicate some of what I saw, that there's something not entirely wholesome going on around here.
Talia, you certainly can see that armor and sword he's carrying are worth a decent amount of gold. Do you take Parter's hint that it's time to leave?
Yeah, because we can always come back. These seems quite set up here, so. All right, well, I guess we can't stand here talking all day, and lovely though your chatting has been, so I guess we'll head off.
I'm glad you've come to your senses.
Never
Should we
really
feel
like
like
one of the Scarecrow.
Should we have been filling in the bestiary, by the way?
I don't think that it's necessary or going to be
okay.
worth it for a 4-session game.
That's true. All right.
I think it plays out more in the longer form campaign. If that's like, if it sounds fun to you, then absolutely. But I don't know that it's gonna pay off. So you all are just leaving at this point. Mahira, you're going with the others.
Yeah, I'm thank him similarly, and try to de-escalate a little bit since it was a little tense there for a moment, and I don't want to be alone with him, so I'm going with the others.
Mm-hmm. All right.
When we're about a couple of 100 feet away or whatever, I'll say, Pardo, what was up? You seem even more agitated than usual.
There was one of those skulkers back behind his tent that had its throat ripped out. I think there's more to this situation than it seems. It seemed like it had been killed recently, and it wasn't with a sword.
What do you mean wasn't with a sword? Was there like? Do you think the person did magic or something, or?
The throat was ripped out like an animal would.
But it was recent, you said.
Yes.
Go ask him about it.
Yes, excuse me. Are you some kind of beast man?
Are we
Where'd you
pulling
find that?
Parda away as they're actually doing that?
I did say I asked when we were several hundred feet away. I was
Yeah.
hoping we were
No,
at the
but
outer
that is fully what Parda is saying
Out loud.
out loud to point out the sheer insanity of that plan.
Yeah, I'll say shh. He may be able to hear. You may be right. He may have been sort of saying, "Look, this is my area. I'm happy hunting beasts. You guys go."
I'm sure that's all it was. So as you head on towards the town, you're going to pass by a small shrine with a statue of St. Hester, a cornucopia, a sickle, sheaths of wheaten gourds carved out of some sort of stone. Do you want to stop and look around the shrine at all, or are you continuing on towards town?
As we're approaching the shrine, it's like I recall our previous experience looking at the shrine and, mutter to Revel, and, maybe we'll avoid this one.
Could be fun though.
What do you think, Parda? What do you think, Talia?
Oh, I don't mind. Just I could just stay alert, stay on guard. If you folks want to have a look around, that's fine. You guys, you know more about this stuff than me, but I'll stay alert if you want to have a look.
Oh, I'm not here to poke around with farmer gods and the like. The sooner I get some cobblestones under my feet, the happier I'll be.
I'm feeling a little
you guys are
insulted
no
with
fun.
that farmer gods comment. Well, Revel, then shall we take a look at the statue? Do you want to look?
That's all right. I'll get the next one.
Okay, let's move on then. Yeah.
All right. So you just continue on towards the town. As you sort of, you reach the outskirts, but, you see pretty much the same thing that you could from the top of the hill. There's very little of Hester's mill that's left standing. There's a half-crumbled well. There's, the remains of an odd cottage or two. There's a stable, mostly decayed. But the only feature that's fully intact from the village's heyday is the mill itself.
So there only would have been like 10 buildings here initially. This was a tiny...
It was a pretty small town, yeah, at its height. Revel, where do you go?
I think
Or what
I'm
do you
just
do?
looking through the rubble right now. Just looking for cool
Alright.
rocks, cool
Alright.
things that people might have left behind an offering.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a hunt roll. So do you have a skill that makes your task easier, or a piece of equipment that you're using?
Could I swing lore?
Law to look for special rocks.
A super cool rock with just everything we need inscribed in it.
I don't think that you will find a super cool rock, but so I don't think that law is going to apply.
So one die.
Yeah. Or if you have a piece of equipment, well, nice. You get a token.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to spend that to exchange it immediately for one piece of gold. But the other thing that I will tell you is that you have entered a new set now. You're in the set, The Village of Hester's Mill. And your set goal for Hester's Mill is to gain the ability to see and hear the invisible demon Malfast. Talia, what are you doing?
I've got a rope, and I'm going down the well.
Nice. I'll come back to you. I'm just going to check in what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, obviously I'll let them know. So I'll tie it on. So I'm going to check out this well. Yell out if you need a hand with anything.
Okay, very self-reliant. Parda, how do you react to Talia popping down the well?
I'm keeping my distance from that, and I'm trying to kind of stand as far away as I can from everybody, where I can kind of still see people and I can get out into the open quickly. But I'm kind of poking around, and I've picked up a handful of random rocks, and I'm like throwing them at a building to just kind of amuse myself.
Okay, and it's more do you want to make a hunt roll to see if you find anything, or is it more you're just like keeping busy?
No, I mean it's honestly like I think that Parda kind of like trusts her instincts for like she's good at kind of that spontaneity skill. I'm thinking is part of this is like she's just good at coming across things, and she just kind of pokes around in a very low key way.
All right. Well, yeah. Go ahead and make a hunt roll.
All right. Do you buy my spontaneity argument?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Double 2.
Okay, you encounter something terrible. So I think that, well, maybe I'll come back to that.
Yeah,
Mahira, what are you doing?
I think the sort of farmer in me is interested in the mill itself, and so I'm headed in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's deal with the well first. So I think it'll be a risk roll to safely navigate down into the well.
I've got athletics.
Yeah, so I mean, the first step in a risk roll is to say what you hope will happen. So I imagine getting safely in and out of the well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask the GM and the other players what could possibly go wrong. Does anyone have a suggestion as to what could go wrong with this plan? Please, Romy.
Something is already in the well.
Something is already in the well? Yep. Richard, do you have anything that could possibly go wrong here?
Well, yeah, of course, the rope breaks.
Classic. Gerald?
Yeah, I was going to say Talia's fallen in the well. Like, it's a total Lassie moment.
I was going to suggest that it turns out the well is either bottomless or much too deep for the rope to hit a surface. Well, that's a good collection of possibilities. Now, take one light-coloured die if the task is something you're skilled at. I think you said that it is.
Yeah, I got athletics.
Yeah. So you can take another light die if you accept a devil's bargain from another player or GM. So again, devil's bargain, just something bad that will happen regardless of whether you succeed or fail. Let's see. Does anyone want to volunteer a devil's bargain that they're thinking about?
I got one, but I don't know if I could have one when it's my roll.
I don't think you can propose your own devil's bargain.
Oh, damn it.
I think that the inside surface of the well is so slick with muck and algae that he comes out coated in it.
Comes out covered in algae. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Gerald, do you have a devil's bargain to suggest?
I was just, regardless of whether or not the, going down the well is successful, you could lose an item from the well as you're like off your backpack or something. So I don't know if it's like the mirror or something like that in the pack. I admit that I was looking in Talia's backpack to see.
Sure. Romy, do you have a devil's bargain to suggest?
It's a pass for me.
I think that maybe a devil's bargain that I would offer is that regardless of whether you succeed or fail, something in the well speaks to you.
Yeah, I'll go with the last one.
All right. So that's 2 light die. You can add a dark die if you want to risk your mind or body to succeed.
Yeah, why not?
All right. So 2 light, 1 dark.
I think cause she's feeling a bit off because of the nightmares and stuff last night, so her head's in a strange place.
Yeah.
So risk 2, 1.
Yes. So I think that will increase your ruin by 1. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, do you want to? So on a 4 to 5, you succeed, but there's some kind of complication. So I think I might just ask you to describe the complication in terms of it being something that harms you in some way that increases your ruin. Like it could be just something.
Maybe I'm trying to focus on the task, and like flashbacks from the nightmare are just really upsetting me. It's like what should have been simply climbing down a rope is actually quite traumatic because these very vivid flashbacks come back to my mind.
All right. But nevertheless, you set foot on the bottom of the well, and a woman's voice whispers your name. And we'll come back to you in just a minute. Parda, as you sort of throw your stones at the side of the building, you hear a sound. Like at first you think it's just a crow cawing, but you realize that it's just much louder than a crow. It sounds almost like some sort of giant crow. But you don't immediately see the source of this noise. It's closer than you would like.
Okay, I'm going to step back, put my back up against a building, and cover my face and disappear.
All right. Mahira, you were going to go check out the mill. Revel, are you just still sort of sorting through the stones, or do you want to join one of the others, or what are you thinking?
I was actually wondering, game mechanic, do I have to change tokens to gold narratively, or do I just put that in my sheet?
If you just tell me that you're going to cash in a token, I'll tell you how you find something of value.
And can I just do the one, or can I do tokens that I've already gained?
You can do all of your tokens if you want. You can do as many or as few as you want.
All right, I think I'm going to do all 3.
3 tokens, nice. I mean, you can also spend the 3 tokens to accomplish a set goal if that's something that you would want to consider.
Well, we'll see.
Sorry, I'm just looking to see.
If I find some cool shiny stuff, I am happy to go peer over the well and see how Talia's doing.
All right. So I think that what you'll find amongst the rubble, at first, somewhat disappointing, but as you sort of look at it some more, you realize that this is actually quite valuable. It is perfectly preserved correspondence from a villager to his love in Amberay. You think this could be of significant value to historians if you sell it back in town. So worth as much as 3 gold. It includes some valuable, first-person history of the area and of some conflicts in Amberay, the capital. And all right, and then you go look down on Talia. We'll come back to that. Mahira, as you approach the mill, let's see. It's a big 2-story building with a crimson roof. The large double doors that lead inside are painted a deep purple and midnight green and are chained shut and secured with a lock from the outside. There is a message roughly carved into the doors that reads, "Do not believe Mandrake's lies." What do you want to do?
Well, that kind of answers my original instinct, which in going over there was to sort of, see if it seemed like it had been used, even though there appears to not be anybody here, like with any kind of recency. Given that it's locked and that I read this message, I would go back to my compatriots and tell them that the mill is locked up, and would we like to break in?
So you sort of yell that down the well.
Well, at this point, no. I'm coming over with that intent. I would. I don't want to. Freak Talia out by like shouting down the well, but I would do. I might say it more quietly than yell down the well. Yeah.
So down the well, before you get a chance to talk to Talia, this voice sort of, you hear it in your head. It speaks to you deep inside, and it says to you, "I know why you have come here. I would like to help you if you will help me."
I'm after treasure. I'm listening.
Treasure will be much easier for you to come by if you dispel the demon that lives upon the village. An easy task.
Where in the village?
I cannot be sure. I am in a well. But I know how you can dispel it.
Fair enough.
How you can banish it from this plane.
All right. I'm listening.
On your way here, did you see a campsite?
Yes.
Good. He's still here. The demon Malfast will leave this plane of existence if the vagrant living in that campsite is sacrificed upon the millstone.
I've got candles. Can I light a candle and sort of look around, or?
Yeah. Make a hunt roll. Do you have a skill that will help you with this, or the candle's a piece of equipment, isn't it? So that's one. Yep. So that's a two light die hunt roll.
Right.
Very much like you typed that correctly the first time. I'm not quite sure. You get a token, but you encounter something terrible. So you do get a token. For a moment, as you light the candle, you can see the ghastly and ghostly face of a well-dressed woman with big hair sort of piled up high on her head. But she vanishes just as quickly as you're able to light the candle. And you're not really sure if she vanishes because you lit the candle or because Mahira is calling down from the top of the well.
I'll say, I'm coming back up.
All right. You're able to pull yourself back to the top. Parda, you see that the other three have sort of assembled around the rim of the well. Do you stay hidden, or what do you want to do?
For now, yeah. I'm like, am I hearing any more signs of this bird thing?
Well, you can make a hunt roll to see if you hear anything.
Yeah, my ears are perked up, and I'm trying to hear it.
Do you have a skill that will help with that?
Not really. I mean, unless stealth counts. But I have to stay still in order to do this, so I think it's just one die.
Yeah, I think that's right.
One!
Do you have any tokens to lose?
Yes, I do. I have two. Oh, well.
That's
Easy
tough.
come, easy go.
And sorry, can you tell me again, like, how is the ritual that you're performing described?
I can cover my face and stay still to remove myself from others' senses.
All right. So, as you stand with your back pressed to this, sort of the crumbling remains of this wall, you realize that something is crawling on the wall above you. It is about 5 feet tall. It has the upper body of a huge raven, or at least raven-like creature. Its lower body that it uses to sort of slither over the wall above you is just this roiling mass of thick black tentacles. And it seems like it can't perceive you, but it senses that there's something around here. It seems to be looking for you. What do you do?
I'm gonna be sitting tight for now. Ready the very moment that its attention seems to be elsewhere. I intend to book it.
Okay. Well, I think that's a risk roll. So let's organize our risk roll. So what you're hoping to do is just get away without being hurt. Is that right?
Yes.
Ask the other players what could possibly go wrong. Blake, any suggestions?
Its vision is movement based, so the second part of moves, it's gonna know where they are.
Yeah. Gerald?
Same, but I feel like it's in a position to pounce and wrap its tentacles around.
Yeah. Romy?
Parda trips trying to get away.
Yeah, that was going to be mine. I think we've well canvassed the ways this could go wrong. Maybe also possible that it attracts another of its kind. It calls over another of its kind. Great. So take one light-colored die if the task is something you're skilled at, or because you're taking advantage of a piece of equipment or the environment.
I think this fits under stealth and dexterity. So.
Oh yeah, I buy that. Take another light die for accepting a devil's bargain. Does anyone want to volunteer a devil's bargain?
The blasphemous book falls out because that's what it's actually seeking.
It's a good one. Gerald?
It's
Sorry, Remy?
it slimes you.
What would maybe we don't want to define this, but I wonder if you want to tell us about what the consequences of sliming would be. Like, does that make movement harder? Does the slime smell in a way that might, make it harder to sneak around? Like, what do you know anything about the slime, or will we wait to find out?
I think maybe somewhere between a sliming and an inking. So very stained, maybe marked as right.
Yeah, nice. Gerald?
No, I'll pass. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't think I can improve on either of those. Will Potter accept a devil's bargain?
I think I'm just going to stick with the one die.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to say that for this one, you do need to include the dark die because your mind and body are at risk.
Okay.
So one light and one dark die.
So that's /risk 1/1, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. 6 on the dark die.
So your ruin increases by 1, but you succeed. Do you want to tell us about like what happens that you're harmed in some way while you succeed in getting away from the thing?
Yeah, I think that it's just I had to let it get but while it was kind of coming down, I had to let it get very, very close to me. And it's just it's something that's going to stick with me for a while.
Yeah. Just haunted. It's nice. It's nice that you're all choosing mental harm. That's an interesting approach. All right, and then you meet up with the others back at the well?
No, actually, I'm kind of like this thing had wings, right?
Yeah, I guess it has some wings.
Okay, I on Parda is going on the assumption that this thing or anything like it is not likely to want to be in a enclosed space, so I'm headed for like maybe maybe a low roofed building that I can kind of duck into and hide and catch my breath.
All right. So the other three of you will all this will draw your attention, I guess. You'll see Parda essentially appear and flee from this giant tentacled crow thing. You see Parda rush inside the remains of a cottage and slam the door behind themselves. Mahira, what do you do?
Yeah, so I guess I had just said that the doors were locked on the mill, and there was a message about a demon or something on there. But the action with Parda is pretty distracting, so it's like the words are trailing away as I'm mentioning something about going over to the mill, and I'm actually now thinking, do we need to defend ourselves from this creature? Thanks to Parda, it's no longer got her. So I draw my bow, and am taking aim.
All right, so you're preparing, but you're not actually shooting at it yet.
Correct. Yeah, I'd like to avoid a fight if possible, but I'm
Right.
I'm not going to let it get close either.
Revel, what are you doing?
Kind of like pointing, like, are you guys seeing that? Should we like? Are we? I'm not the strategist here.
Talia?
I get my sword out. I'll move, so I'm sort of halfway between the rest of the party and the creature. Because if it buggers off, I'm happy for it to bugger off. But if it's going to come, then it's going to get me first. And
all right, I think that it's just going to sit there, sort of watching you. It stays on the wall. I guess it probably looks, like it's in much the same position that you are. It's not ready it doesn't want to fight, but it's ready if you continue.
okay, I'll say, are you the demon that the thing down the well asked us to kill?
It caws. It doesn't say anything.
Overhearing that, Talia, there's something on the door about a demon at the mill. Can we like semicircle to the back to the mill so that Talia can take that info, and maybe also Revel, who I think knows some lore. Can we kind of very carefully not disturb the beast?
Yeah. Are you all wanting to do that?
That's good.
Yeah. Is there any way we can pick up Parda on the way, or is?
Well, I'm not sure that Parda wants to be picked up. I was going to ask what's Parda doing in the quote unquote safety of the cottage.
Well, she is like peeking out through a broken shutter, and trying to assess what's going on, and If she's not confident in her ability to get out by herself, so if it looks like they need her help to deal with whatever's happening, she's ready to run out. But if they seem to be handling it, she's perfectly happy to stay safe.
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, what do you all think? Does Parda think that you need her help, or do you look like you're handling things?
I'll yell out. See if you can find any information in there. We're still here. We're keeping an eye out. Don't panic, and we'll do the semicircle thing while watching the beast towards the door, so we can have a look.
All right. Parda, so you're just kind of peering out the window. You don't want to explore the cottage at all.
Once it seems to have settled down to an impasse, I'm gonna kind of start looking around in this cottage.
All right. Well, go ahead and make a hunt roll.
All right. I think I'm working with. I'm actually gonna be using my shovel to move rubble aside. And
nice.
So, so that'll take it up to 2. Four.
So on a 4, take 1 token, but you encounter something terrible. So as you sort of shift the rubble, I think there's a couple of things that you'll observe. The main one is that you unearth some symbols of St. Hester, carvings of a cornucopia and some sheaths of wheat that you've seen around, sort of throughout the area. But these have been made profane in some way. How have these symbols of St. Hester been altered to make them profane?
Well, there's a I'm trying to there's a mark, like a kind of accent mark that's used in this particular script that has a kind of vulgar connotation that's been thrown in. And Parda is actually going to try to parse this to get more specific information about it.
You want to make a hunt roll to do that?
Sure. Does the use of my ritual count as another die, or?
Sorry, that passes the ritual that you have.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll make it a risk roll then, and if we're going to do a risk roll, maybe we'll take a break first because that'll take some more time. So let's come back just about 10 minutes past the hour, and we'll see what happens in the mill and the cottage.
All right.
All right. So Blake is away from his computer for the minute, and we'll just continue and wait. And he'll join us when he's able. Is everyone else ready to continue? All right. So Mahira and Revel with Talia in tow, you sort of circumnavigate around the village in such a way to avoid the crow thing, and you arrive back at the front of the mill house. Is that where you were going?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just as you left it a few minutes ago. The doors are chained shut. The words "Do not believe Mandrake's lies" roughly carved into the purple doors. What do you do?
I'd like to take a closer look at it. Maybe see if I recognize any phrases. I have skills in both lore and rituals. Maybe I'd like to see if this is something related to that.
All right. We'll go ahead and make a hunt roll. And you can your skills will definitely apply. Gets a token, but encounters something terrible. So as you approach the door to look to see if there's anything that you recognize, anything that you know here. You don't exactly, there's nothing mystical about the words themselves. There's nothing arcane about the locks or the chains. They're just, mundane and really quite old items. But as you get close to the door, you smell blood inside, a tremendous amount of blood. What do you do?
Smells like blood in there.
I smell it too, and I have my mallet and iron spike in my hands. As we were approaching the door, thinking that I was going to try to maybe open the chains. So I say, should I just still open it, or should we leave it closed?
I think you should double open it. And
Okay.
I'm kind of holding the chains taut to help you out. Make sure they're
All
not
right.
slipping.
And maybe be ready to stand back in case it's a flood of blood.
So yeah, I think it makes sense that this will be a hunt roll. You're essentially exploring the world. You're using a piece of equipment, so that's a 2 dice hunt roll.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh dear. So there is indeed. Did you have any tokens?
That's the good news. I didn't have any to lose.
Wow,
so.
that's great.
Yeah.
The bad news is that inside the mill is just a horrifying scene. The walls and floor are stained red with blood. There are pieces of cracked bones scattered all over. Burnt candles nestled here and there. And, in the center of the room is the huge millstone, which even from here you can see has been delicately etched with hundreds of profane symbols. And the bedstone has been stained a deep red and has flecks of dried blood and bone in it. What do you do?
This is ghastly. But I know that Rebel knows lore. Does this look like a ritual or something you know? Are you familiar with this profane site?
I kind of look almost disturbingly delighted right now. Because this has rituals spelled like all over it. And I'm like, tasty. This is tasty. I need to know more. I'm right up to the profane symbols on the stone, trying to see if I recognize anything from my studies.
Okay. And Mahira, what are you doing?
I mean, this is a moment where I feel like maybe Revel and I are very different, and yet this is a good partnership. So I'm going to back Revel up, and let them do their kind of lore thing. But I think I had the spike in them and the mallet, and they've gone from construction opening to more ready for something that jumps out or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll come back to you both, but Parta, you were going to use your pass ritual on the symbols of St. Hester. So tell us about what the ritual does.
It allows me, let's see, divine the true meaning of any word, writing, sound, sight, or symbol.
All right. Well, let's. I mean, what? Yeah, we said we'd make it a risk roll, didn't we? So, what could go wrong? No, wait. Sorry. What are you trying to accomplish? Is the first
I'm trying to gain some useful information from this text.
Mm-hmm.
Something that will profit me or get me out of here safely.
Yeah. What could go wrong, Gerald?
Other than understanding that the accent is somehow profane, there's like typographic shade being thrown right now. Like, other than that, it's absolutely inscrutable. Like, to the point of second guessing one's abilities.
Mm-hmm. Romy, anything that could possibly go wrong?
It says the exact last thing you want it to.
Parda, what would be the exact last things that you wanted to say?
That that my doom is sealed, that I'm not gonna leave here.
I think another thing that could go wrong is that in passing the ritual, you pronounce certain magical words that have some dire, disastrous, or diabolical effect. So let's see. Take one light-colored die if the task is something that you're skilled at, or if you're using.
Yeah, I mean, I think lore fits in there, but I'm also using that ritual. I don't know if that.
So the ritual.
Oh, before anything else, I'm gonna spend my token to find something valuable.
Sat. You can't actually lose tokens from a risk roll, but always,
no, I know. I'm
always
just
a
gonna
smart
deal
move.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What will you find? In the cottage of value, I think you find a fine copper washing basin.
Okay.
So Devil's Bargain's next. Does anyone want to? Excuse me, coffee. Does anyone want to suggest something that could happen regardless of whether this succeeds or fails?
You read it perfectly, but it takes so much effort you don't realize what's coming up behind you.
Well, so the Devil's Bargain can't be that you read it perfectly because it has to be something that happens whether you succeed or fail. But yeah, I think that makes sense. So occupied that you don't notice something approaching. Gerald?
Oh, I feel the extra burden because Blake isn't here. So I don't want to pass just yet, but I'm failing to come up with a Devil's Bargain, I must admit.
I don't think that I have a great Devil's Bargain to offer either. I think that maybe the Devil's Bargain that I will offer is that regardless of whether you succeed or fail, one of the crow things has approached your companions from behind and they have not noticed it.
I'll take that.
Fantastic.
All right, so I'm rolling
2 light, 1 dark.
All right. Five.
So you can add a dark die and re-roll if you'd like. That will bump you up. I mean, if you roll a 6 instead, then that would bump you up to an outright success rather than a success with a complication.
No, I think I'm good sticking. I'll take the complication.
All right. We'll come to your complication, but let's first deal with the complication you have provided for your companions. So it is deeply unfortunate for you both that Talia is not here right now, but as you lean down to look more closely at the symbols, you are distracted by the cawing sound of this thing. You're not quite sure if it's the same one that you saw on that building outside or if it's a different one. It has crawled into the mill. It's gnawing already at some of the bloody bone that still lies on the floor down here. And you see as it does that even though it has the beak of a crow, inside the beak are dozens, maybe hundreds of sharp teeth. And it lets out a hideous cawing yell at the 2 of you, or 3 of you. And you will need to fight it or otherwise deal with it. Mahira, what do you do?
Yeah, so my first instinct is to can we all get around and close the doors and lock it into the thing? It sounds like, as described, we really have to fight it. Like we wouldn't be able to dash around.
I'll let you make a risk roll to try and get away and lock it inside.
All right.
I would take a risk roll, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so
I'll-
I'm only going to want one of you to make the
Yeah.
risk roll. Does one of
Yeah.
you have a preference?
I
can
think
ride.
it's mechanically even, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So
I'm-
Mahira, it
Yeah.
was your idea.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
just you're just sort of yelling, "Run!"
Yeah,
and you
basically.
both flee around it.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
Mahira,
yeah.
what are you hoping will happen?
I am hoping that we can avoid the fight because Talia's not here to swing her sword. So then we get we all three make it. That is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that my yelling of run is really the kind of yell that everybody's going to be able to move quickly, and we're going to skirt around and get the doors closed.
Sure. So ask the GM and the other players what could possibly go wrong.
What could possibly go wrong?
One of us gets stuck in there.
Oh, one of you gets stuck. That's great. Yeah. But really what that means is one of you blocks the other inside, which I love.
Well, if two people are out, it just makes sense. Like, get as many as possible.
Yeah. Richard, do you want to offer something that could go wrong?
I'm gonna sit this one out.
All right. Another thing that could go wrong is that none of you get outside, that you're forced into combat with this thing before you can get away. I think that's good. So one light die if the task is something that you're skilled at or you're taking advantage of the environment. So I guess that applies. Another light die for accepting a devil's bargain from another player or the GM. Does anyone want to offer a devil's bargain? I think that my devil's bargain might be that in your rush to get outside, you drop your backpack. Does anyone else have a devil's bargain?
I think I'm passing.
Yeah, I'm.
Well, I'm sorry. There's only one on the table. Do you want to accept it?
Yeah, sorry, team. The backpack is too valuable. I'm not going to accept that devil's bargain. Yeah.
All right.
So,
We'll take an add a dark colored die if you're willing to risk your mind or body in order to succeed.
right. I'm going to hold that, right? Because
Sure.
I think that I could re-roll that with that, right? Yeah. So, okay.
All right. So just a risk roll with one die. Is that right?
I think so, right? Because I'm using the environment, but that just makes it the one. So
yeah.
And skills don't play into the risks, right? So
so it's the same thing. So the environment and your skills together just get you the one die.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right.
So let's see. You fail and things get worse.
Yeah. Can add a dark die and reroll.
You can add a dark die and reroll, yes.
All right. I think that sounds like a good idea. It's already bad. So that's just one, right?
Yes. Hey. So your ruin goes up by 1, but you succeed. Do you want to describe? Well, so you describe how you succeed and also how your ruin increases in doing so.
Yeah. I yell run and I run out, but the others run out. But because I run out first, I'm also like getting the door ready to close. And so maybe when Talia is the last to come through, kind of thing, and I'm closing the door, that I get mauled. Just to do something not mental, I get mauled. On like my like left arm or something like that. Yeah.
Nice. So, Revel, you come to a stop outside. The thing inside the mill is beating against the door as if it wants to get out, but there's a sliding bolt or something like that will hold the doors fast for now. What do you do?
I was screaming my whole way out, and I'm tumbling, I'm eating grass, just absolutely beside myself. Like, come on, like I just wanted to read it. Like, can we please just let me read something for 5 minutes?
All right. And Parda, back inside the cottage, you finish reading, passing the inscription on the pot or on the cornucopia. In cruder terms, it describes the true bread, the bread that's ground from blood and bone, and it says Malfast provides.
Okay. Does that name well, I mean, we encountered that name already, didn't we?
I think that Talia heard that name in the well, but I don't think that Talia has. Oh, maybe Talia did tell the others, but not you.
Well, I wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah.
Does it ring any bells in my lore? Kind of.
Make a hunt roll.
All right. I assume that my lore skill applies.
Yeah.
Okay. 3.
3. So on a 3.
Nothing good.
You encounter something terrible. So you're not familiar with the name Melfast, but you realize that there is another way that you can read the inscription. Read one way, it's this kind of dedication to Malfast, but there's another way you could read it that represents, and it's not really clear, some sort of revelation connected to Malfast.
Okay. And so I do I need to decode that further to figure out what that revelation is, or do I know?
It's not clear what the revelation is, but it's clearly it's ritualistic in some way. If you read those words, the revelation will occur.
Well, I think this slides right into where Pardo might be a little reckless, because she's thinking that she's studied and has worked with rituals and all this stuff. So she's just going to blithely go ahead and read the revelation, complete the ritual.
Mm-hmm. All right, I won't make you roll for this one, but let's just see how the others are doing right now. Blake mentioned that Talia is sort of piling up has offered to sort of pile up some rubble against the doors to hold it shut. But I think that ultimately you might want to get back in there. So is that what you want to do? Just seal it up? Mahira, what do you think?
I felt Revel about to speak.
I'm kind of looking around to see if there's any. This is like really rebel, but if there's any animals that have died, any carcasses, it seemed really interested in the eating. Maybe we can lure it out.
We'll go ahead and make a hunt roll.
I don't think I have anything that could help me, unless trickery, because I'm tricking it, but I'm more.
Oh, just looking for some animals or something. I don't think that will count. You encounter something terrible. All right. So all of you feel like the kind of hairs on your arms stand up. there's a sense of something momentous having happened, something magical, something strange, something that you haven't experienced before. Part of you won't see or hear specifically what it is, but you sense that something happened as you read those words. Mahira and Revel, and Talia as well, you will see exactly what has happened. Your attention is drawn unavoidably to the roof of the mill and the thing that is looking down at you. It's about 15 feet tall. It, similar to the lesser creature that you locked inside, it appears as a sort of large revolting crow. But its head is orbited by 6 smaller crows in this big nest of oily black tentacles. And as you watch it, the large central crow starts to cough and then regurgitates the remains of a human. This human, obviously long dead, is screaming as he is vomited by the crow thing. Screaming as the 6 smaller crows floating around its head immediately tear his body apart. What do you do?
I'm looking at Mahira. I'm looking at Talia. You right?
Can I try my
Nice
silence
timing.
ritual? Yeah. Can I try my silence ritual? Sort of at the thing. I want the lack of noise to try and hopefully scare it.
Okay, so let's say that's a risk roll. So you're trying to scare this thing with your silence ritual?
Yeah, because it's kind of talking to its little raven things, and I just go bang, all sound out, and I'll activate the spell by doing like a weapons carter and then chucking the energy at it.
All right, so we'll make it a risk roll. So everyone, what could possibly go wrong?
The
It's so
silence.
silent. Oh, you go.
I was just gonna say the silence doesn't help at all. It's just quietly doing all of those terrible things.
Revel? Remy?
The silence means we don't hear what else is coming.
That's good. Richard?
I think that I think that he's not able to it could not go off and it could end up sticking to him instead. And
Yeah, I mean,
silencing him.
and I think I will round this out with the obvious: it attacks you. So a great selection of things that could possibly go wrong. Do you have a skill that will help you here? I guess you described using your equipment, so I
Yeah.
know that
Otherwise, I would have
first
said
aid.
secrets. Maybe I know something about ravens don't like silence.
Interesting. And devil's bargains. Does anyone want to propose a devil's bargain?
You recognize the human it regurgitated.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that's hard to top.
Yeah, I think that I think that's unbeatable. Talia, would you accept that devil's bargain?
Yeah, bring it on. That sounds good.
Okay. How do you recognize them? Who was it? Or who do you think it was?
Well, I was a heretical inquisitor, so it's someone I sort of threatened and beat up, and things went even worse for them. So I probably feel bad for being one of the chain of events that led them to this point.
Sure. Nice. They probably recognized you as well as they were regurgitated. They called out you before they were shredded by the tiny crows. All right. And you must use a dark die when you perform a ritual. So a risk roll with 2 light and 1 dark. Oh, nice. So you succeed. So the creature is silenced, at least for now, and it's hard to read the expressions on its bizarre head, but it seems somewhat shaken by that. Maybe it looked like it was about to fly down and attack you, but it's paused by this unexpected magical assault. I'll come back to you in just a sec, but Parda, what are you doing?
Oh,
lost Romy. Well, hopefully they'll be back soon.
Okay, so Parda has been reading this. Has she just felt kind of a energy in the air from having done this, but nothing. I think that I think that she has kind of like this. There was this energy in the air, then like kind of a natural silence. And so she's going to go like shake off what she was doing and go to the window and like more overtly look out to see what's going on.
We'll go ahead and make a hunt roll.
Okay. I don't think anything I have is relevant here, so 5.
All right. So you encounter something terrible and you take a token. I think clearly the terrible thing you encounter is the scene atop the mill that you see as you look out the window, this 15-foot high raven demon thing. Oh, here's Romy. Let me just let him back in. Are you with us? Does that work?
Yes, sorry, I lost connection.
Oh, that's right. So Parda's just looking out the window and has noticed all of what's going on. What will Parda do?
Parda is going to do what Parda does best and wait and see.
All right. So Talia, Mahira, and Revel are all standing sort of on the ground just before the mill, with a creature trapped inside the mill and this much larger, more terrifying creature sitting on top of the mill. What are you all thinking about doing? Talia, you've sort of given it pause. Do you have a plan?
There's no like holy items, holy water or anything, is there?
I don't know if anyone has anything like that.
I was just looking in the backpack. Okay. I'm going to challenge it to a duel.
That is amazing. I just want to check with the others. Well, wait. So do you call out to it and say, "I challenge you to a duel"? Is that?
Yeah, I challenge you to a duel. Come forth, and I'll cut you down, or you may leave this place in peace, but go now.
Wow. Okay. Revel, how do you react when Talia challenges this thing to a duel?
It sounds like something I don't need to be involved in. So I'm going over to my hair and I'm like, hey, 1 gold on Talia.
Yeah, I think Talia's going to take it. I was sort of about to take a page out of Parda's book, though. You know, I'm getting a little concerned about Parda, actually. You know, she seems to have been in that building for some time.
Well, you could probably see me looking out the window.
Maybe
now.
we need to go ensure that everything's okay by going in that building while Talia is dueling the creature.
Yeah, Mahira,
all right,
I'm absolutely following you.
Talia, the creature will just manifest on the ground before you. You see that your friends have headed inside, away from here. How are you feeling? Are you ready for this? It's
I'm
basically twice your size.
Nah. Basically, yeah, my plan is I'm going to sort of hack at it with my sword, and then when I'm close enough, I've got iron spikes, because I'm thinking, you know, they're natural, it's unnatural, I'm going to get it in the head or the heart with a, you know, a gut blow sort of thing when I'm close enough.
Well, it's going to be a combat roll. So part of what that means is because there's only one of you, it won't be possible for you to defeat it in the first round, so it's going to take at least 2 rounds to accrue enough dice for you to possibly defeat it.
But my ego's big enough for 5 people.
Yes, that is true. No doubt about this. But first say how you expose yourself to injury or attack.
I'm letting it get close, because I want to get close to get it with the iron spikes, so...
So now, roll 1 light die to find out your weak point. That's weird. It should work. Maybe try rolling it without the number. Yeah. Okay. A weak point of 1. That's all right. So now to defeat it, you must roll equal to or higher than the monster's endurance. The monster's endurance, because you have Parda's ritual actually did expose its weakness, so its endurance is reduced now. Now you only have to beat an endurance of 11 with your 2 highest dice. But in the first round, you'll just be rolling the 1 die. And really just hoping that you don't roll your own weak point.
So I'm just rolling combat, or?
Yeah, I think that's right. Just combat 1. All right. So you're not hurt. That's the good news. Do you want to describe a little bit of the battle?
I guess it's the little crows are kind of diving in at me, and I'm ducking, and I'm trying to swing at this thing, and the big one's sort of standing back a bit, and I'm dealing with the add-ons, as you might say, that the 6 little ones I'm ducking and weaving to try and get closer to the big one.
Yeah. All right. So the second roll... Oh, sorry, do you need to go? All right. So the 3 of you inside the house see this happening. Are any of you tempted to go and try and help your friend, or to try and help in some way from in here?
I'm tempted to look for another exit.
Well, let me ask instead, have you satisfied... Do you have enough gold to satisfy your burdens? Like, are you able to just go home at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Is everyone able to satisfy their burdens? Does anyone actually need to find more gold? Mahira?
I think I'm even, so I think I have as many gold as I have rune, so that...
So burden's the score that you're looking at.
Or burden, sorry, yeah, I misspoke. Well, actually, my gold, my burdens, and my rune, they're all the same number at this point.
Okay.
Actually.
Convenient.
Yeah.
All right. So it doesn't look like anyone is coming to help Talia, but
Oh,
Talia. Oh, sorry,
that,
my mistake.
yes, no. I mean, Parda was looking for the exit, but I was going to say Mahira is feeling guilt. Like, you know, I think there's a level at which, you know, Talia's confidence and like, I challenge you to a duel, and it was like, I was afraid and went to the house, but seeing that the battle is gonna take longer and that Talia is maybe in more jeopardy than I had realized, I would try to help.
All right.
I also have a mallet and spikes as well, so
So yeah. So what does it look like? Are you gonna run over there and join the fray?
yeah, I'm gonna be foolish and do that.
All right. Well, go ahead and roll your weak point. And while you do that, Revel, what about you?
When I did the ritual on my Scarecrow friend, did it seem like that target was a permanent match, or am I able to shift it?
Good question. I think that you could try a risk roll to reallocate its target.
I would love to do that.
All right. Well, I'll let you do that after one more round of combat, just to reflect them getting a shot first. Mahira, what was your weak point?
2.
Nice. And how are you leaving yourself vulnerable or exposing yourself to possible injury?
I'm running up very close to get into the fray as well, following this very similar tactic.
Well, and now that it's clear that nobody else is taking my suggestion to get the hell out of here, I am going to engage because I can't get back by myself. So I like if everyone else is getting involved, I have to.
All right. So, Parda, how do you expose yourself to injury or attack?
Well, I am going to run out, and I'm going to be throwing a handful of my grandmother's ashes into its face.
How long ago was the town abandoned? Because I'm wondering if the grandma could have died here, so that actually has a mystical effect, sort of thing.
I think it's much longer ago than that.
Okay.
Yeah. I never liked her. It's not all the ashes, just a handful.
Okay.
But yeah, so I have to get close enough, and
yeah. So roll your weak point as well.
All right.
Maybe she was a cleric or priest or something, and the ashes act like holy water because she was blessed, so to speak.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Talia, how are you feeling that after you challenged this thing to a duel of single combat, 2 of your friends have rushed out to try and help you?
I'm presuming they're attacking the little ones, not the big ones. But yeah, to me it doesn't matter because I know I can take it without their help. I'm that awesome, so you know. It's not insulting to me. It's nice they want to help.
Okay, that's sweet. So this time it's going to be a combat 4 roll. So 1 die for each treasure hunter and an extra roll for the second round of combat. So any one of you, whoever wants to, can roll that. Combat 4. And you're looking for the 2 highest die to equal 11 or higher. Who's going to roll?
Parda, I really think that your grandmother's ashes deserve to roll.
All right. So I'll do it. So combat 4, right? Okay.
That's right.
Oh! No, that is my weak point.
Yeah, so that's going to be 2 ruin for you unless you have some armor that you can mark off.
I do have armor, which, yeah, I can get rid of one of those, taking my ruin up to 5.
Well, but if you mark the armor, then you won't take any harm from the.
Oh, none at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah. Okay.
All right. So I'll get you each to describe your contributions to this battle. So starting with Mahira, what does it look like?
Yeah, so Mahira rushes out with the hammer and the mallet and the stakes, and is in fact going after the small ones, and is trying to hammer and pin down limbs, and so tentacles. Actually, I guess it's not really the small ones. It's the tentacle-y side of things.
Okay. And Talia, how do you bring it to the brink of defeat?
Yeah, I'm hacking up like the bigger limbs, arms, or legs, or whatever. Just trying to slow it down. Big sweeps my thing, and jabbing with the iron spikes.
And Parda, how do you finish it?
Well, I think that what happens is that I throw the ashes right at its face, and it sucks them right into its windpipe, and its throat closes up, and it starts to hack and wheeze and asphyxiate, and this opens it up to a coup de grace from somebody else.
Nice. And yeah, I guess Revel, you'll see through the window that they've defeated it before you get a chance to perform your ritual.
Oh, I'm doing some extremely important cheerleading.
So you can roll now to see how much gold you're able to sort of sell the harvested body parts from the creature for.
So is that gold 12 or
11? It's the endurance that you rolled against.
Oh.
4 gold. It's not bad.
we can go one each. I'm happy to share.
Do you want to describe the parts of its body that you're going to be able to take back and sell?
Oh, I'm going eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Big eyes, big raven eyes.
Yeah, valuable giant raven eyes. Lovely. Yeah.
You said that their jaws had many, many teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably valuable.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break here, and we'll come back just about 5 minutes past the hour, if that's good for everyone.
Yeah, sorry about being AFK. It's just plumbers.
Oh, no worries.
It was they had to come out last night, 385 just for call out. Yeah.
What was the problem? Is it fixed up now?
No. They're just, they think some of the valves are stuffed on the taps that are on all the time, like the ones plugged into the washing machine and all that. So we're getting some quotes to see how much damage.
Sounds very annoying.
Yeah.
All right. Is everyone ready to continue? All right. So you have slain this enormous crow-like creature. Its oily black tentacles, still sort of twitching a little as the remains, what's left after you eviscerated its body for parts, sort of flop around on the ground. The mill itself is barricaded against one of the lesser crow creatures that is still inside somewhere. What do you want to do?
So the thing in the well said I need to sacrifice this thing in the mill or something?
The thing in the well told you that to vanquish the demon Malfast, you would need to sacrifice the vagrant at the campsite nearby on the millstone.
Oh, okay. So, damn it.
Are you going to tell the others about about the voice in the well?
Yeah, I'll say, look, I saw some spirit or creature or person, I'm not sure, had a vaguely sort of female face, and said, yeah, I've got that really talkative guy back at the campsite. I've got to sacrifice him in order to get rid of the demon here. But I thought we just fought the demon, so
Yeah, I think that I'm all for calling it good.
Just
Did
to
you find
head
any?
back to town.
Did you find anything in that hut, Parter?
Just some profane runes.
Revel, are you still keen to get back inside to look closer at the millstone, or has this dissuaded you?
No, I definitely am. I'm kind of wondering, guys. I want to get back in there and I want to read those. I think the runes on the altar are important. Do you think we could maybe take this thing's head and intimidate the other one into leaving us alone?
I don't see why we would do that. Like, no, I feel like I've made a tidy sum here, and that lifting some hillbilly curse is not in my remit.
Well, you can stay here safely. I'm willing to try that. And take the head over and just say, "Look what we did to your friend. Maybe you should leave. This is a good deal."
I mean, you've trapped it inside the mill. It won't be able to leave unless you open the doors to it.
We
Well,
open the doors, rush it with the head of the other one. Seems like a great plan. Parta, you're welcome to stay outside.
Yeah, I think I'll sit over here on this rock and mind my own business, count my money.
So who's going to be wielding the head?
As I am the one without the weapon, I think that makes most sense.
Right. Well, I think that you can make a risk roll to see if this works.
All right.
So what are you hoping will happen?
I'm hoping that this crone bird thing is extremely powerful, and this lesser creature recognizes that and recognizes that we should not be messed with. The first one we saw did not want to fight. I'm hoping to get that same reaction.
So everyone, what could possibly go wrong? I want to start with Richard, as Parter just sits back and contemplates this very question.
It does want to fight, and it brings its friends.
Yep. Blake? Oh, hello.
Okay.
Sorry. Blake, what could go wrong?
This was its mate, and it's going to go berserk.
Yeah. Gerald?
Well, I think it's driven mad with fear and runs out of the thing. So it's wrong. I guess in some ways maybe that's a little too right though, because I think we would be driving it out. So maybe that's not so good, but that's where I was at.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. I don't have anything really to add to those possibilities. So let's build a dice pool. Is this a task? Oh, you're taking advantage of something in the environment, the head, so that will get you your first die. Does anyone want to propose a devil's bargain?
As we're approaching, can I just suggest, Romy, you might want to use your inhabit to make the head talk, and have the head say, "You can leave now" or something. It's just an idea, but
Now, this is possessing a person or animal. Can I do this to something that is dead and not a person or animal, technically?
I mean, I think that works as just part of the same risk roll, if that's what you want to do. You haven't seen any signs that any of these things speak a language in any recognizable sense. But if you want to try that, you're absolutely welcome to. That will mean a dark die is part of the role. Does anyone want to propose a devil's bargain?
It picks up one of us on the way out.
I think it damages the building in a way that makes it structurally unsound.
That's a good one. Gerald?
So, regardless of whether you succeed or fail, I think damage the building is pretty good, but I was thinking that that it is drawn to this head in a way that means that we have to like get rid of the head. Kind of, it becomes a problem whether or not it's driven out or it's attacking. That it's like really focused somehow on that.
I think that my devil's bargain is that regardless of whether you succeed or fail, the head reanimates and just follows you around everywhere. Not attacking, not capable of causing you harm, but certainly capable of causing you problems. Do you want to accept any of those?
Shane, did you mean like it merges with the Scarecrow, or you just mean it's its own thing?
No, I meant more like its own thing, just starts walking around on its little tentacle legs.
Revel has a collection of things following them on their back. And
like a mama duck?
Yeah. Or like an entourage, situation.
Oh, I'm so tempted, but I think the structural damage is pretty good as a deal.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll. Sorry, are you going to use your ritual or no?
I don't think so, because I'm trying to convince this thing that we killed it and we're not to be messed with. I think if I'm mimicking speech or communication, that might be a detriment to the goal.
All right. So go ahead and make a risk roll with 2 light die. Oh, nice. So you succeed. Describe how.
All right, so Revel just has no shame or fear picking up this gore of a head and just rushing the doors as the others open them, screaming their head off. Just don't mess with us.
So you see the thing like lunge towards you as if it's about to attack, but then sort of reel backwards as it sees what you're holding. And as it does that, it crashes fully into one of the support beams that's holding up the structure. And there's a kind of ominous shaking. Some fragments of the roof start caving in. It's not fully collapsing, but you don't know how long you have before the whole thing comes down. And yes, the crow thing starts to run from inside. It flees, leaving you all to explore for as long as the structure stands.
I say catch, and I toss the head over to Talia, and I'm going right in.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to try and read the inscriptions?
I am.
We'll go ahead and make a hunt roll.
And 2 for my lore and rituals?
Sure. It's a token, but encounters something terrible. So, I mean, I think the terrible thing is that the place is starting to really come down around you. There's not going to be much more time after this. But what you find as you read, it is like ritualistic type inscriptions all over the millstone. Like describing, but also sort of performing a ritual of sacrifice and transformation. The ritual involved sacrifice. Obviously, you can see that people were sacrificed here. Those who drank the sort of slurry made from the blood and bone produced by the sacrifice, according to this ritual, would each go on to become pregnant with and later to give birth to a crow-like monstrosity similar to the one that you just caused to flee. And that is the ritual that's described here.
Gross.
Pretty good.
Is anyone, are the rest of you waiting outside, or are any of you exploring while Revel sort of reads the millstone? Like, what's happening?
Well, I'm outside kind of going, looks like it's going to fall. Doesn't, you might want to get out of there. Mm-hmm. We're burning daylight on this.
I think Talia's reminded. Yeah, Talia's reminded of the nightmares, so she'll probably do some weapon kata and stuff while she's outside because she's trying to take her mind off. It's all a bit too familiar. It's not liking the theme of this place.
And Mahira?
Mahira would actually would leave the rune deciphering and ritual knowledge, to Revel, but would be in the mill, in that room, looking around for, things of value or clues, etc. I know it's risky because of what's happening with the structure, but I just think that's what Mahira would be doing.
Yeah, go ahead and make a hunt roll. Do you have a skill or something?
Not unless I was looking for traps or something. It's not quite the same, so no.
Do you want to spend any tokens before you make your roll? Do you have any tokens to spend?
That's a good reminder. Oh, convenient. I don't have any tokens to spend.
Okay, great. Perfect. Oh, great. So the mill collapses at this point. Mahira, you can make a risk roll to try and get away. I'll get you both to do this. Well, yeah, I guess. Let's just say we'll just get one of you to do this. It doesn't really make sense to me to do the risk roll twice. I think Mahira made a risk roll for the two of you earlier, so I'm tempted to suggest that Revel do it this time.
Right.
Revel, as the mill comes down, what do you do?
I'm running.
Right.
At least I'm trying to. And if I can grab Mahira on the way, just dragging. If Mahira's already bolting, just going after.
All right. So take one ask the GM and the other players what could possibly go wrong. Anyone?
A bit of the bricks fall down, damages their legs, so their movement's slower.
Yeah. Richard?
I think it collapses, exposing some kind of creche or nest that's underneath the mill.
Yeah, I was going to say similarly that when the roof collapses, so too does the nest of crow things on top of it. What about you, Gerald?
Those are so traumatic. A little plaster gets in our eyes. We're temporarily blinded. A couple minutes, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. All right. So take one light-colored die if the task is something that you're skilled at or because you're taking advantage of a piece of equipment or the environment. Nope.
Well, hang on. Mahira has traps, so doesn't that include sort of dealing with precarious?
Well, Revel's making the risk roll this time, so
okay.
Nice try. Yeah. All right. Does anyone want to offer a devil's bargain? Richard, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think that one of them comes away with some kind of scar or like just a cosmetic wound that'll be lasting.
Mm-hmm. Blake?
Either the thing in the well or the guy at the campsite's watching. So another potential threat is aware of what's happening.
Okay, yeah, something is watching and is now a threat. I think that's a good devil's bargain. Gerald, do you have a devil's bargain?
I gotta pass. I think I have a vested interest in the results of this. I was gonna say and then we don't, we both have a fear of bread. I think it's, I gotta pass.
So I think the devil's bargain I will offer is that I'm just thinking about how to construct this. That whether it's because you succeed in getting out unscathed, hang on, I think I've got it. Whether you succeed or fail, it does come down on top of you, and the success or failure is about whether you get out unscathed. So with success, you'll still get out if they're fine. You could get hurt if you roll ruin or something. The devil's bargain is that it takes you so long because you're partially buried and you have to get out that night falls before you get away. Do you want to take any of those devil's bargain?
I think I'd like somebody watching.
Okay. Somebody is watching. Well, go ahead and roll your... I think that in this case you're going to have to use the dark die because your body is clearly at risk. So, 1 light and 1 dark. Risk 1, 1. Is 2 higher than your current ruin?
It matches.
Okay, so that does... Wait, if you included a dark die and it rolled equal to or higher than your highest light die, and it is higher than your current ruin. So equal to your current ruin, it won't increase. But on a 2, you fail and things get worse. You do have the option of adding a dark die and re-rolling.
You can't do that if your highest die is the dark die.
Ah, you're right. All right. So you fail and things get worse. All right. So the structure comes down on top of you both. Neither of you is hurt exactly, but both of you are pretty strongly pinned there. And all of you see now what it was that was watching, which is the crow thing that was sitting on top of the building as it collapsed down around you, and now moves to attack. Neither of you are really in a position to resist it, so it's going to come down to what Parda and Talia can do.
Oh, I'm going to scream at it. Come at me!
Well, how are you leaving yourself exposed to injury or attack?
I'm waving my sword at it. It's... I guess I'm not sort of looking where I'm treading, so I might fall over some of the rubble.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead and roll a weak point. And Parda, are you going to try and help your friends here, or?
Yeah, I don't feel like I have a choice. So,
right. How are you exposed?
Parda is, because it worked so well before, she's going to try the ash thing on a lesser scale, but she has to get close.
Yeah. All right. So both of you just rolling your weak point. We've got a 2. 1. All right. So now, either of you, whoever would like to, please make a combat 2 roll and see if you can beat the thing's endurance of 8.
Nope.
Damn it.
And
was that mine? No, that's
that
his.
is that's
Parda's
weak point. Do you have any armor that you can mark off?
No, I do not.
All right. So do you want to describe how you're hurt in this battle?
Yeah, I think that it flaps its wings at an inopportune moment and blows the ash back into my face.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm coughing and choking on my grandmother's ashes.
All right. So your ruin increases by 1, and then do either of you want to try and flee, or are you going to continue to press on?
I'm going to continue.
I can't. I'm 1 away from death, so
Oh,
I'm gonna think better of it. I'm like just going off to cough up a lung, and
so to flee, you have to give your weak point to one of the other hunters. So you're going to have to convince them, one of them, including the 2 injured parties who, or not injured, the 2 who are pinned down and unable to fight. One of them could take it if they want. But you need to convince someone to take your weak point.
if I get no takers, then I'm stuck, huh? Any volunteers?
Yeah, I'll do it. I can see the Ashwin in her face, and I'll just step more towards them to get more of its attention.
All right. So then, Talia, go ahead and roll a combat 2. So you're only rolling 1 combat die per se, but then another for the second round.
Oh, good.
Hey, do you want to describe how you defeat it?
Yeah, I think I took the iron spikes. I sort of slash and then gut punch with the iron spikes. And
all right. And then go ahead and roll to see how much treasure you extract from it. So just gold 8.
Oh, geez. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And you're able to.
Well, that splits evenly among the 2 combatants.
I don't think so. Harder. Now, I've got athletics, so I'm just going to work my ass off getting the rubble off these 2.
Yeah, you get them out reasonably quickly, and they're not really hurt. Just
obviously your head and hands first, so they can Yeah.
Our hero.
Yeah.
And I'll look at them, make sure their eyes are still working, and they can focus and talk and stuff. And
okay. Like what is the? I mean, maybe this is a good time for the group to have a little discussion. Is it time to go back to town? You still haven't looked at the gallows. You might be able to sort through the rubble of this mill that you just brought down. Like what are you all thinking at this point? Talia, can I start with you?
Well, we're already here. We might as well sort through the rubble while we're here, see if we can find anything. And then after that, we can either go town or gallows. I'm happy either way.
All right. Parda, what are you thinking?
One bit of bad luck, and I'm out. So I feel like I've made a good haul on this, and like it's only courting disaster to spend any more time than we have to.
Revel, what are you thinking?
I think night is going to come sooner than we expect. So if we're staying here, I think we should try and find something that we can fortify, a safe place to sleep.
And Mahira?
Yeah, I'm part of I don't want you walking the road alone, but so I feel like you're forcing the whole group to go back to town because of where things are.
Well,
are you sure you couldn't stay with us if we kind of lock things up tight for the night?
Well, I can only say that you cannot count on me to help with anything.
That's fair.
Very fair.
One combat roll could completely destroy my character. So
yeah, I value your knowledge of lore. I think we. Yeah. Talia, what do you think? We could support Parda in the fighting and Revel. Does that sound fair?
Well, I mean, honestly, like in game, I'm fine with it being a situation where Parda is essentially held hostage by the fact that no one else wants to go. and she could be, she could be pissed off about that, but it's that's fine with me.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've agreed that you're going to sort through this rubble. I think that the way we'll do this is just one of you can make a hunt roll, but that's going to represent, like a whole afternoon's work, and it is going to get to dark by the time you finish going through everything. It's a lot of work to sort through. Talia, you were very keen on this. Do you want to be the one that makes the hunt roll to sort through the rubble?
All right. Well, I mean, does Parda want to check out, because there's like a little hut or house or something, if they want to start getting that ready for us to stay the night, so that way they're out of harm's way?
Sure. Parda, is that good for you?
Oh, well, yeah, and I would mention that I would feel a lot less, I'd be a lot less grumpy about this if gold were involved.
Yeah, well, we all would, but here we are.
I definitely.
I mean, you can. Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I volunteered to stay with Parda and help get our little camp ready.
Yeah, that's
right. I mean, you can just fortify one of these cottages. It would probably be a bit of a nicer night if you were to set up in the farmhouse again, a little more comfortable. But you're happy just with one of these cottages?
I'd just as soon not go back to the Scarecrow.
Yeah, fair. All right. Well, Talia, why don't you go ahead and make a hunt roll? Do you have a skill or a piece of equipment that would make this easier?
Secrets?
Do you want to? Can you unpack that for me a little?
I'm good at finding things. I think if I was going to hide something, where would it be when I know where to look for things?
Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
So hunt 2.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think that, well, first of all, what you find in excavating the remains of the mill, it's long, arduous, painful work. For a long time, it seems like you're just not finding anything. Everything that looks like it might have been of value has been shattered or crushed in the collapse. But eventually you do find a satchel that has survived pretty much unscathed the collapse of the mill. And wrapped up inside it, you find a few things that are of potential value or use. You find a roll of Diabolist tools worth 2 gold. You find Beatrice Mandrake's journal, a journal that, at a quick glance you can tell was kept by a Diabolist of some kind, some sort of sorceress, and it appears to include some information about the rituals that were performed here. And you find 2 healing potions, each of which will reduce somebody's ruin by 1. And that's it. That's what's wrapped up in this little satchel.
Okay.
You also hear, echoing out across the valley, what sounds like a loud wolf's howl.
Wonderful. I'm sure that's perfectly fine.
But you notice that it's getting dark, the moon's out. It's probably about time to bed down for the night.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I guess we've fortified that cottage.
Is there enough time to fortify with traps? I have that skill, and I would be maybe hearing the wolf thinking of whether or not I can lay any, traps that would just ensure that we were woken up we've given a little notice, maybe ensnared something, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
If there's no
I don't.
time for that, that's cool. But
Yeah, I think I mean, you have plenty of time while they're sort of searching the rubble. Yeah, I don't think you need to roll for that. Your skill seems to imply that that's something that you can just do.
Cool.
But
And
I think
I'll give one of the healing potions to Parda. So
All right,
this will
I'll
help.
use it
This will.
immediately.
you're going to use it now. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, so it just heals you by 1. The I think that what I would like is for one of you to make a risk roll to see just to get through the night without incident. I'm wondering if I'm abusing the risk roll too much in doing that, but I think it makes sense. You're attempting a risky task, which is just sleeping out in the village of Hester's Mill. Does somebody want to volunteer to make the risk roll? You are
I'll do it.
risking potential. Okay, you got 1 spare ruin to play with, so you're ready to go again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I understand that what you're hoping will happen is that you all make it safely through the night. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, everyone, what could possibly go wrong?
It's been a long day. Someone forgets. They wander outside for a leak.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
One of us gets caught in the traps.
something breaks in.
Something breaks in. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the wolf creature that's wandering around out there finds where you've bedded down for the night and decides that sleeping hunters would make a nice snack. All right, let's. So 1 die if you're if the task is something that you're skilled at, or because you're taking advantage of a piece of equipment or the environment.
I would make the case that stealth. I'm thinking that we're like keeping a watch,
Mhm.
and so Part is very good at staying unseen and you know uh, being patient and observing.
Yeah, I buy that. That's 1 die. Take another light die if you accept a devil's bargain. So I'll ask you each if you have a devil's bargain that you'd like to offer. Blake, anything from you?
Well, it's a wolf, so it's got our scent. Our scents are all over this area, so even if it doesn't get us tonight, it's on our trail.
Remy?
Pass, sorry.
That's right. Gerald?
I think this would work as a devil's bargain, regardless of our success or failure, that the watch was exhausting. So we would be like, I don't know, the exhausted condition kind of like exists, but feel like
Yeah, I buy that. That Parda, as the one making the risk roll, would have the exhausted condition. Do you want to take either of those devil's bargains?
Yeah, I'm inclined to take that it picks up our scent. Parda is, was creeped out by that guy anyway, so yeah, I'll take that.
All right. Well, add a dark-colored die if you're willing to risk your mind or body to succeed.
No, I'm not.
All right. We'll go ahead and roll your risk
That's
roll
a
with 2.
risk 2. Okay, 6.
Nice. All of you make it through the night. In fact, you don't even realize that something has your scent now. I guess I'll ask again, like, what you're thinking of doing at this point. We're pretty close just to the end of where you can go in this incursion. If you want to check out the gallows, that's open to you, but I feel like this might just be a good place to wrap it up for this week. And then we can start with we'll do some downtime stuff and then a new incursion next session. Are people happy with that? Has everyone satisfied their burdens at least?
Yeah. Can we trade? And I guess there's no reason not to trade in our tokens for gold before
Yeah,
we do
absolutely.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Another question: when we had that first monster kill with the 4 gold, do we add that immediately or when we're in town?
You might as well just add it immediately. That's fine. I guess, yeah, technically not until you're back in town, but that sounds like more bookkeeping that I'm really interested in doing. All right. So all of you have survived your first incursion. You make it back to the nearby town where you can rest and hopefully begin to recover. And we'll find out more about what that looks like next time. But can we just finish up with a quick round of stars and wishes? And again, just in the order, well, maybe we'll go backwards from the order that I can see you. So we'll start with Gerald.
Yeah. Stars. I mean, wielding the head and rushing in. Like, what an MVP move. That was great. That was awesome. Of Rebel, and then challenging, the demon. Like, I thought that the silence thing was really great tactical play, but I loved that the challenging of the demon was like really good role play, kind of, just, and also just really pushing it. So I really appreciated that from Talia. And Party, you never cease to disappoint. I mean, I just I love the way that, Parta is like really self-interested, and kind of, strategic, like the characterization, but also like Richard, you also are clearly like you lean into like the how you can use the skills of the character too. Like I think you really see like I get that vibe from the way that you're playing as well. So those are all my stars. Well, except Shane, obviously with the last but not least. I mean, I think that you have done a really wonderful job with the descriptions, and I'm super creeped out by just about every monster you've described. So you're hitting those notes really well. So I really think that's great. Wishes is still a little bit more, I think maybe when we get the downtime and stuff, but actually I kind of almost want to give a star for us for doing more interaction and talking and stuff like that, actually. So I think we all sort of stepped up our game on that front. So maybe that's like not really a wish. That's actually more a star. Sorry, I'm really bad at the wishes. That's all I got.
Sure. I guess I might ask as well, like as a general question that you can fold in with your wishes or not. There's a few different incursions that I'm looking at for our next one. Would people like something that's sort of broadly similar in tone, or would you like something lighter? Like you're happy with whatever. If you don't have a preference, that's fine. But if there's anything that you'd like to say about that,
I think that what I've observed from especially I felt like this session more than the last one is that like the tone of the sort of the grittiness and sort of kind of the horror elements, but it's not tropey dark level horror. I think is really great, and obviously there's enough levity in our play that I don't think it needs to be in the material. I think in some ways like the tone is good where it is for me, at least.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, Remy.
All right, this was amazing. It's definitely a lot more comfortable coming in the second round, and I feel like it's really cool seeing everybody's character moments, like Talia challenging that duel was just like a cinematic moment for me, and then all of us kind of saying, okay, that's your issue, was fun. Like screw around and find out. Parta, it's really cool to see even in one episode session the transition from going off on your own and not being a part of the group to fighting for 2 of us who are down. That was really cool for me, and I love the complete opposites dynamic. It's fun to have that duo to play off of, so thank you for that with Mahara. As far as wishes, just more of the same. And for the tone for the next, I'm good with this. I love even ramping up the horror. I'm good with.
Right. Cool. Thank you. Richard?
Well, I mean, like, largely the great things are what's already been said, although I really do appreciate when I'm in a group that can, like, see that clear, bright line between player conflict and character conflict. Because, I'm playing an unlikable character, and, and like, I'm trying, and it's mainly, it's I want to find reasons to help, and I'm finding those hooks and those, it's like and please don't interpret any frustration that I express as anything other than in character, because like that's it's like if you watch the old Lost in Space, I'm just playing Dr. Smith, and so and that's such a fun character to play, but. Yeah, and I thought everybody did a great job. I have a clear sense of like where everyone's characters are. As far as wishes go, I would like more NPCs. I want a little bit more of a social game. But I know that like Trophy tends to be a little light on that just by its tone and stuff. So I don't need like a fully populated world with a cast of thousands, but just like, a few more people to talk to would be nice.
Yeah. That's really helpful. Thank you. And Blake?
Yeah, no, it was all good. I'm just going blank. As far as like tone and things for next time, I'm happy with it as is, but I'm just as happy for it to get a little more horror too. Either way is good. I'm happy. I have no problem with Parda not being sort of always active combatant, because to me it's like, they're the scholar, they're the teacher. I expect them to stand back and yell out good advice while we're fighting or whatever. That's fine. It's all good. Yeah. No, I'm going. Yeah, it was all good. You can sort of solidly see everyone's characters. So yeah, more of the same. Yeah, I can see how there could be a little bit more chatting, but we could kind of do that on the way back to the city or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Right. Well, thanks very much, everyone. I had a great time again. I'm very excited to find out what will happen next time. I'll end the recording, but just want to check that everyone's happy with me posting that on YouTube. If you reconsider after the session, totally fine. Just to shoot me an email and tell me that you prefer I don't. That's